Whispers of the unknown. They say when you see their eyes, it's already too late. Those eyes, devoid of any light, seem to pierce through your very soul, leaving you paralyzed with fear. Black, like a starless night, devoid of warmth or life. It's as if the universe itself has turned its back, leaving only an abyss, a chilling void that reflects the darkest corners of your soul. It's a mirror to your deepest fears, a reminder of the unknown that lies within. Whispers travel through generations, hushed tones recounting tales of encounters with these beings. Each story, passed down like a dark heirloom, adds to the growing legend. They are spoken of with a mix of fear and fascination, each story a chilling reminder of the unknown that lurks at the edge of our reality. The tales are shared in dimly lit rooms where shadows dance on the walls, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Some dismiss them as folklore, mere figments of overactive imaginations. They laugh and wave away the stories, not realizing the truth that hides behind the legends. But for those who have looked into those eyes, the terror is all too real. The fear is etched into their faces, a permanent reminder of the encounter. Their presence brings a cold dread that seeps into your bones, a feeling that something ancient and evil is watching your every move. It's a sensation that lingers long after the encounter, haunting your dreams and waking moments alike. A knock at midnight. The first encounter happened in a quiet suburban home. A young man, home alone, heard a knock at the door just past midnight. It was a cool evening, the only sound the chirping of crickets outside. Curious, he peered through the peephole. Two figures stood on his porch, their faces shrouded in darkness. He squinted, trying to make out their features. He opened the door slightly, a chain lock still securing it. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice hesitant. The figures moved closer, and the porch light illuminated their faces. They were strikingly pale, their features sharp and unsettling, and their eyes were pools of absolute blackness, staring right through him. Shadows in the desert. The night was still, the air thick with an unsettling silence, and the vast expanse of the desert seemed to stretch endlessly under the cloak of darkness. The second encounter took place on a desolate desert highway, a place where the moonlight barely pierced through the heavy shadows, casting an eerie glow on the empty road. A lone truck driver, making his way through the night, noticed a figure standing by the side of the road. The figure seemed out of place, a stark contrast against the barren landscape. The figure was shrouded in a dark cloak, its face hidden from view. It stood motionless, almost blending into the night, an ominous presence that sent chills down the driver's spine. The trucker, a seasoned traveler, felt a pang of unease but pulled over, figuring someone might need help. His instincts told him to be cautious, but his sense of duty overrode his fear. As he rolled down his window, a gust of unnaturally cold wind swept through the cab, carrying with it a sense of foreboding that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. The figure approached, and for a fleeting moment, the hood of its cloak fell back, revealing a glimpse of what lay beneath. The trucker recoiled in horror, his heart pounding in his chest as he struggled to comprehend what he had just seen. The face beneath the hood was gaunt, almost skeletal, with two black pits where its eyes should have been. It was a visage of pure terror, something that seemed to have crawled out of a nightmare. The gas station encounter. The third encounter was different, unlike anything experienced before. It took place in a brightly lit gas station, a place seemingly too ordinary for such a chilling experience. The fluorescent lights cast an almost sterile glow, making the shadows seem even darker. A young woman stood by the cashier waiting to pay for her gas. She seemed lost in her thoughts, unaware of the impending strangeness. Two men walked in, their clothes rumpled, their faces etched with fatigue. They looked like they had been on the road for days, their expressions weary and distant. They moved with an unnatural stillness, their gazes fixed on the woman. It was as if they were drawn to her by some unseen force, their movements almost robotic. As they passed her, the woman felt a cold shiver run down her spine. The air around her seemed to drop in temperature, and an inexplicable sense of dread washed over her. She glanced at them, her eyes drawn to their faces. There was something off about them, something that made her heart race. Their eyes were open, but they were entirely black, devoid of pupils or irises. It was as if they were looking into the abyss, and the abyss was looking back. It was a fleeting moment, but the image of those eyes, those empty voids staring back at her, would remain seared into her memory. She knew she would never forget that night, the night when the ordinary became extraordinary and the mundane turned into a nightmare. Each encounter, while unique in its setting, shared a common thread. The witnesses described a sense of paralysis, an inability to move or speak while in the presence of these beings. It was as if their bodies were frozen, their minds caught in a terrifying grip of fear. Some spoke of a low humming sound accompanying their presence, a subtle vibration that seemed to resonate deep within their chests. Others recounted feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, a primal fear that seemed to claw at the edges of their sanity. The encounters, though brief, left lasting scars on the psyche, a lingering sense of unease that whispered of something sinister lurking just beyond the veil of our perception. Stories of these encounters have been shared in hushed tones throughout history. The tales vary in detail, but the core elements remain consistent: the black eyes, the unsettling presence, and the chilling sense of dread. Some say these beings are travelers from another dimension, passing through our reality in search of something unknown. Others believe they are harbingers of misfortune, their presence a sign of impending doom. There are even tales of those who claim to have communicated with these beings, their minds filled with cryptic messages and warnings of a darkness that threatens to consume our world. These individuals often vanish without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a chilling silence. A glimmer in their eyes. But perhaps the most unsettling detail of all is the faint glimmer that some witnesses have reported seeing within the blackness of their eyes. A spark of intelligence, a flicker of something ancient and unknowable. It is this detail, this hint of something beyond our comprehension, that truly sets these encounters apart from mere tales of the unknown. It suggests that these beings are not mindless creatures, but rather entities with a purpose, a reason for observing us from the shadows. What that purpose might be and what it means for humanity remains shrouded in mystery. Fear's grip. The fear these encounters evoke is primal, visceral. It speaks to a deep-seated fear of the unknown, of the unseen forces that may lurk just beyond our perception. It's the fear of encountering something that defies explanation, something that challenges our understanding of the natural world. It's the fear of looking into the abyss and finding something staring back. And it's this fear that keeps the legend of the black-eyed beings alive, passed down through generations as a chilling reminder of the vast and unknowable mysteries that surround us. Their true nature. Are they interdimensional travelers, demonic entities, or something else entirely? The answer, like the beings themselves, remains shrouded in mystery. Some researchers believe these encounters may be attributed to sleep paralysis, a condition that can induce hallucinations and a sense of terror. Others speculate they could be cases of mistaken identity, with witnesses misinterpreting ordinary individuals due to fear or poor lighting. However, none of these explanations fully account for the consistency of the descriptions, the shared details that transcend cultural and geographical boundaries. The black-eyed beings continue to defy categorization. their true nature remaining as elusive as their fleeting appearances. A warning. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these encounters is not knowing what these beings want, why they appear, or what their presence signifies. Are they simply observers, content to watch us from the shadows? Or do they harbor a more sinister agenda, one that could have dire consequences for humanity? The stories serve as a chilling reminder that there are still mysteries in this world that defy explanation. Forces beyond our understanding that lurk at the fringes of our reality. And as long as these mysteries remain unsolved, the legend of the black-eyed beings will continue to haunt us, a terrifying testament to the unknown that lies beyond the veil of our perception.